Hi, welcome. On this next series of videos, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of, by way of Kevin Murdaugh's method. Again, this is a re-upload that he did, so I'll be doing a kind of comprehensive play-by-play here in terms of, how a picture of change comes together. And here in this video, you'll see again, I'm talking about the starting point itself when it comes to a process. So again, if you're interested in watching this complete series, I would encourage you to check out the member area option where I'm going to be putting the series into that area. Part one will be more of just the preview available on my YouTube channel. So again, check out the member area option if you want to see this complete breakdown series. And as I move forward, I'm going to be doing more of these type of a breakdown series as part of the member area option. So again, it's a great option, one-time payment, and you're going to get access to not just breakdown videos, but instructional videos, insight into this one-of-a-kind system of training. Now, here again, Murdaugh was kind enough to, okay, I mentioned this video before, to re-upload him interacting with this shepherd. And one of the things here we're going to talk about is the whole thing about why it is in terms of, I talk about the language of the method. Okay. I talk about, how the interactions themselves, align, okay, how they come together in terms of providing clarity for a dog. In terms of dog understanding, one of the big things to talk about is intent. And the issue about the core ingredients at the social level I talk about in terms of intentional control, influence being reconciled by way of a type of a power play, which a dog comes into agreement with. And at the same time, what this does is begins to affect the dog's overall decision-making process, leading to, you talk about diminishment of unwanted behavioral issues, how everything comes together that way. So here in this video series, we're going to be transitioning from the outside, where he's going to be, again, you'll see him interacting with this dog, to the inside. We're going to be doing that as well, and all points in between. So here, we talk about the leash. Okay, I talk about the leash as a connection point. Understand, it's a way in which to communicate with your dog, in which, again, be able to reconcile those core ingredients, to, again, for dog understanding intent. Okay, so understand the leash is a very important tool that you want to utilize as part of your method. And again, this is where, again, once a relationship problem is underway, okay, this is where, the interactions, by way of the leash structure, talk about that as well. Here he mentions about, the title of the video, how I provide rules, boundaries, structure for a young dog who's never had any, by way of Chase the German Shepherd. But again, beyond, again, that's where we get this whole thing about, I talk about Cesar Millan type of approach, more kind of generalized themes, such as Caesar will talk about, rules, boundaries, structure. He'll use the word energy. But what is when you start to drill that down, the question is, okay, how's that actually frame up through a method? Okay, how's that actually work? How's that actually come together to advocate change? I mean, those are the questions. You hear a lot of these type of generalized themes out there in the dog training community. You hear the word leadership. Balanced dog trainers use leadership. Even a lot of force-free trainers use leadership. But what does that really mean in terms of, again, a picture of change? And again, I'm very specific in terms of, how that comes together, how that aligns to a method, okay, through, again, the interactions themselves, by way, again, of engaging a relationship problem. So here, we're going to start here again, talk about the starting point here. I'm going to go back to the start, and let's play some of this video as we talk through it.
A young dog, especially a German Shepherd, which was the case with this.
Now, here right away, okay, this whole thing, let's talk about this, okay? I talk about where it begins. I talk about the importance of, when you connect, okay, that point of contact with your dog that is experiencing a relationship problem, okay, and you want to reverse course. You want to look at it the same way as, the moment of contact by way of a parent-child, okay, relationship. where the child has become selfish. And the moment of contact, okay, in terms of, your role, that's where it begins. Okay, how you're in the child's airspace. And that I talk about one of the big themes of the system is being proactive. Okay, proactive in terms of influence, control. Okay, but in terms of proactive in such a way is that you're not waiting. Okay, you're not waiting for bad things to happen. You're not waiting for behavioral issues to start to occur. Okay, you're on it. You're on it in the sense of, those core ingredients in terms of, how you're engaging, how you're in the airspace of. Okay, understand that's really important because the proactive nature of your role is key. Okay, that's really going to make all the difference in the world. And so I talk about starting point, understand that it's where everything begins. And so here, you'll see Murdaugh just moving around. Okay, you'll see this is very discombobulated. Okay, in terms of erratic movements, and you'll see this type of thing from even trainers like, say, the dog daddy. Okay, if you watch the dog daddy, how the dog daddy's moving, he's moving, towards the dog, away from the dog, the leash. It's all very not, funneled. Okay, it's not doesn't provide clarity that way. Okay, and this is where we talk about, if you look at, my one step method, okay, the one step method is where it provides clarity. Okay, it brings that theme in of dog understanding intent. Okay, everything funnels. Okay, it's very intentional. With just taking one step, you're repeating a sequence. Okay, that's how you want to, okay, that's the language, okay, you want to engage with through the interactions themselves, how they align. Here, okay, you're going to see problems all throughout all of this in terms of, you see Murdaugh, see moving around with this dog, and the starting point isn't good. Because understand that once you start moving, okay, the dog's mind will begin to jump, okay? In terms of, how they've already created certain associations, like within the neighborhood, other dogs. But that movement alone becomes a problem. I've mentioned this before in videos. Moving too fast, getting that flow going. Goes into this whole loose leash type of a approach. It can initially look good at a certain level, but not be. Okay, understand that this is the big thing about mind and body. This is the thing about just physical. So many trainers are just superficially focused. They're looking at just physical. And so when they get themselves into trouble or blindsided, things don't line up. It's because they're not making that connection by way of the relationship itself, the state of mind of the dog. They're not, they're not making that, that direct connection association to beyond just the physical. This goes into using certain tools, movement. This is why here, when you start to engage, okay, a dog that has a relationship problem, you need to stop and line it up, which means that you want to pick the side that, is your strong side. I mentioned this before. If you go watch the video series I just did on the trainers from Russia, okay, there's lots of great information in that series. It's available on my YouTube channel. It's like 7 parts. I talk a lot of things I'll be talking about in this video. I talk about on that video as well, in terms of, and you'll see the trainers doing it. Okay, here not going to see it, but the point being is that when you start to interact with your dog, you want to get them into what's called the heel position. Okay, but it's more about at the physical. Again, it is physical, so there's the physical manifestation of lining it up, but it's about relationship too. Okay, there's a reason why a dog, okay, that has gained control in a relationship, they're not going to like, okay, coming along right at your side by way again of those core ingredients lining up. But the lot not liking isn't about, intentionally creating a war with your dog. Understand it's not about that. It's about advocating. Okay, it's about clarity. It's about bringing those core ingredients in, so it's truly going to start to change the focus and the perceptions of your dog. So here, we'll play some more of this. You see Murdaugh,
individual, the family.
See this whole thing, and here, even in terms of his pot, if you pay attention to his some of his mannerisms, his body language, his posturing, okay, what he's trying to leverage here. Okay. He's so desperate. Okay. If he translates this to create the loose leash effect. Okay. He's trying to get a flow going here, so to speak, with the dog. It's appearance based. So pay attention as we play this video of how he postures up, things he does. I'll replay some of these, but he's so much just about movement, appearances. It's not about lining it up the way I just talked about to get the right picture going. Okay, this is just about getting the flow going. This whole loose leash thing these trainers keep going on about. And so he's already, for example, if I was interacting with Chase, we wouldn't be this far at all. We'd be right back here, okay, where I'm pointing my cursor. We'd be right here lining this up to the one-step method. And even still, before we leave the house, okay, at the point of contact, that's where it needs to begin. Because understand it all starts at the beginning, the moment of contact. Just think as a parent, where does it start? The moment you wake up in the morning, there's that awareness that you're dealing with a relationship problem. The moment your feet hit the floor, before you even get your shower, you're dialed in to that reality. And so, in terms of the relationship with your dog, it's the same. It needs to be the same thing. So, if the dog is, say, in the crate, then the moment of contact is going to be, at the crate. As soon as the dog comes out of the crate, right? Even before the dog comes out of the crate, I want a level of relaxation. Okay, those core ingredients are going to be happening, going to be reconciled. And the dog comes out of the crate, dog, you want to interact with the dog, get the dog into a sit right away, just right near the crate door. Then from there, if I'm, focusing on developing, again, relationship, and my goal is to get to the outside in terms of the walk, I'm going to be taking my time. I'm going to be doing the one-step method inside the house towards the door, okay, and then transition from, with the one-step method all the way outside, and get, I'm not going to get. This is about movement this way, okay. I'm going to get a little ways out, and then I'm going to, start to engage just in terms of, being very intentional, very methodical with the one step. Here, see his posturing here. This is about him just trying to generate just enough influence onto the dog to get the flow going. Okay, you can tell from how he moves, which is the wrong way to be doing it. Okay, it's not about appearances that way. This is about a solid picture, or should be about a solid picture.
Now, I had never done a second session with this family. I followed up a week later, see how things were going. They sent me.
So here's talk about calm state. This ain't about a calm state, okay? Because this should be about, alignment, okay? Here, this whole loose leash thing, you'll see this throughout, in terms of how he's, moving with his dog.
A text said everything is better with Chase. I don't know where Chase is or how this family is doing.
See what he's doing? So see how he's just trying to, right? He's trying to get this flow going. That's not how you want to do it. I mean, it's not about just a superficial picture. And the difference here is, we'll talk about this here in a second, but notice how quickly.
That was the last time that I had heard from them. I sent them the video.
So here's the difference. I'll mention this right from the start. The difference between a trainer like Murdaugh and myself, okay, in terms of the focus, okay, because it is about a solid picture, okay, it's about the dog focusing you on the right way. It's about the perceptions aligning properly. It's that level of, again, talking about a power play that happens through those core ingredients being reconciled. Okay, so the difference here between Murdaugh and myself is that I wouldn't make it out the front gate within what, less than a minute. Okay, I'd be over here maybe just right at the very, you go back here, right? I'd be right here at the very start, just out the front door, or right here. And because, again, in terms of the right conversation happening, Chase would be going into, okay, based on what I've already seen in this video, would be going into a level of not liking, okay, being disagreeable to, right, to the language of the interactions themselves, right? There would be a conversation, the right conversation happening between me and Chase, okay, and for a period of time. So, for example, Chase would probably be rolling on his back. He's going to be, going up into the air a little bit. And if you watch my videos, the leash method, right? I'd be redirecting it, okay, starting to get him to come into the sit position right beside me, right, before I advance. So here, you saw Murdaugh. Murdaugh would be, you see here, he'd be down the street, house or two down, and looking kind of okay. Okay, understand this. Okay, we'll talk about this. Looking like kind of okay. I won't make it, outside the gate at all within the first probably whole day. I'll be doing like multiple little interactions, right? We'll be doing, it's going to be like circuit training, right? It'll be a little bit, but I'm going to have the right conversation through the method, right? Here in the driveway, it's going to take me a day or two before I get down the street a little bit. But the difference between someone like Murdaugh and myself is that Murdaugh he'll get down the street a little ways, but the walk will bottom out. Another dog will come out. You'll see here in the video series, I do it. He's all discombobulated. It's a mess, right? So I'll blow by him, okay, within like a day and a half, because I'll be, Chase is going to be into a level of challenge a little bit, right? Through the right conversation. As I start to change his focus, his perceptions change, but I'll blow by Murdaugh, okay, very shortly. It won't take me too long, but I'll blow by him and I'll get not just down the street, but I'll have the perfect walk, okay, in short order. But he'll never. And this is where I mentioned about his own dog, Grey Goose. He's stuck with a reactive dog. I went through this whole series. Go watch it. He can't work through a relationship problem. His stumbling stone or his problems is in terms of those core ingredients not being reconciled through his approach. It's appearances, okay? It's superficial. So my level of challenge, here's the difference. My level of challenge over here with Chase be rolling stuff, he's the type of guy who's done it. He do a complete video series, try to take a piece of that video and put it over in his thing and start to slam on it as abusive, like someone like Robert Hines, all these other trainers, right? His objection point is the point he can't work through. Just understand that here with this whole thing happening. So all to say that it's important to have the right conversation to establish, right, the right picture at the beginning. Okay, this is really important. Okay, being able to move beyond appearances. So
Up a week
here
later, see
again,
how things were going. They sent me a text, said everything is better with Chase. I don't know where Chase is or how this family is doing.
what's better me? I mean, that's the thing about appearances. It's how people get blindsided all the time. It's not about appearances. It's about relationship, about really understanding the reveal through through the core ingredients. That's what's going to give you the right information.
That was the last time that I had heard from them. I sent them the video as well as the instructions and the protocol.
So here he is, right out the front gate, trying to get down the street. So we'll stop part one here. Again, I would encourage you, if you're interested in watching this complete series I'm doing, check out the member area option available, k9pack.com. You can, it's not like Patreon, you're paying every month, just a one-time payment, very reasonable. You have lifetime access to all the videos in there, hundreds of videos. And this series will be in there as well. Moving forward, I'm going to be doing more series, these type of breakdown series in that area. You'll see kind of like the preview part ones on my YouTube channel. So check it out. And again, be going through all of this. It's going to be great information for those who are interested in knowing or understanding how do you establish a real picture of change with your dog. Thanks for watching.